This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Wednesday, the 8th day of May in the year 2024. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. A number of residents of Peters Hall on the east bank of the Demerara who will be forced out of their homes to make way for the construction of the new Demerara Bridge want the government to provide them with a fair deal for their properties. While bemoaning the lack of consultation on the acquisition of their properties, some of the residents have accused the government of ignoring their request to be properly engaged on the matter. Works Minister Juan Edgel turned up at a section of the community early this morning to dispatch letters about the government's acquisition of the properties for the construction of the bridge. He was given a mouthful by two residents who said they feel as if they are being bullied out of their own homes, as the government was not being fair with them. One woman made it clear that she's not against development, but said the government cannot show up and decide on a sum of money that they are to be paid for their properties without any negotiation and giving them 3 months to pack up and move. She said it can't work and made her objections known to the Minister of Works.
Would you please collect this letter? Thank you. Would you sign here as receiving it, please?
I collect this letter unknown to my lawyer, but I wouldn't be signing it.
You could take it to your lawyer.
I wouldn't be signing it.
You wouldn't be signing it?
I wouldn't be signing it.
Okay.
Because number one, a project like this here, nobody's stopping development. At least we should have had about 2 years notice. Listen, we born and grow here. I born and grow here, and look at me, I'm a senior citizen, and this is Bulliazon. This project started in 2022.
My understanding is that you have agreed.
With who?
To give up.
With who?
With the Ministry of Housing.
With Ministry of Housing.
And the only difficulty that they have right now is what is the cost that you're asking.
Nobody in government had no negotiation. Nobody here. It's for the Bulliazon. Within 3 months, we got to move out. Within 3 months, we got to move.
I'm sorry about that, but I don't know about what you're talking about. I don't subscribe to that, and I don't know.
The president went up there a morning.
All right.
And we went up there to see the president. You know what he did? Watch how the police they had me like a prisoner of war because the residents went up there to see the president because of what's going on here. You can't sleep night nor day. Look at this house over here. What is house over here?
57. News Source visited the area this afternoon and spoke to 4 of the affected residents who all complained about the lack of consultation. Peters Hall resident Ashton Thomas said he and the brother have been residing at the family home for more than 5 decades. He said while they may be willing to move, there is a need for more conversations on the issue and an acceptable package to be presented to them.
Well, so far we understand that they're giving some place for the people and you'd be compensated. But I don't know, well, I can't jump the gun. Is the brother before me, he got to say what's up, and then we were able to know, well, how we stand.
And his neighbor, Flora Boston, said she has been living in the area for over 40 years and operates a small business from her home. She said the first time she has seen any government official visiting the community on the issue was this morning, when the Works Minister turned up to present them with letters and asking them to add their signatures to a document. She said she refused to sign for anything. Ms. Boston said she has heard of some persons being offered large sums of money, although their homes are abandoned, while others were being offered far less. She said a fair and acceptable offer ought to be made.
Never, never, I ain't lying. Never, never, never. Come and tell you, well, you know, the bridge gonna come here, and so, well, you know, and nothing. I ain't see Jack Dio, I ain't see Ali, I ain't see nobody. So don't let her lie to y'all.
But if you were to move, what would you want to hear from them before even considering that?
Well, they gotta find place to put you because they want replace. It's not we selling. They want replace.
Another resident of the community, Fanet Belgrave, said she has also been living in the community for a number of decades. She said while her home may not be one of those currently in the path of the bridge works, she still wants to see her neighbors offered a better deal. She said it must be made clear that residents are not squatters and that they own their properties and have been living there for decades.
It's not fair what they're doing. It's not fair to people. Nobody don't mind moving, but treat everybody equally. Don't take out and you put there and you treat there. When don't you tell the Indian people don't say nothing? Is the letter was exposed, make everybody know that they get so much money for abandoned house. It's not fair.
Do you think more time should be given to people? Is that accept?
I would say more time. And you hear what I said was my main thing. If you want people to move, treat everybody equal.
A little further down the street, as trucks rolled by to deliver construction material to the bridge site, Joseph Clark said he has been living in the community for just over 40 years. He said while his house has been valued at $100 million, there has been no offer made to him. But he said he continues to see construction works ongoing in the community.
100 million. And there are a lot of trees, that work here, at the back of them out in the plant. Like soccer tree, cane tree, sejam tree. There's one place where rich live. They say from the beginning they're going to provide a place for you something. That's right.
Many of the residents said they have started to consult with a number of attorneys on the issue. In a statement today, the Ministry of Public Works said contrary to some statements that the government has not engaged Petersall residents on the acquisition of the lands for the new bridge, there are public records that show otherwise. The Works Ministry also explained that residents who have refused to move from the affected Petersall lands, which are now legally owned by the government for development purposes, were offered a free plot of land, monetary compensation to the value of the land they're building, monetary compensation for crops, and free accommodation while they construct their new homes. More news coming up in just a moment.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Love no.
At the planned resumption of strike action by teachers from tomorrow, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Education, Shanil Hussein Uttar, has declared that the government stands ready to engage the GTU on the multi-year agreement, but from this year. The GTU has been pressing the government to first look at the outstanding 2019 to 2023 proposal that it had submitted since 2020. But the government has been insisting that it will only look at an agreement that covers this year and the years ahead. In a one-paragraph letter to the GTU President Mark Light, the Education Ministry's Permanent Secretary acknowledged receiving a correspondence from the GTU on the planned resumption of the strike action by teachers from tomorrow and noted the administration's surprise. After hosting branch meetings, the Guyana Teachers Union announced yesterday its decision to restart the strike action over the stalled talks on the 2019 to 2023 proposal. The union has accused the government of blatantly refusing to engage in collective bargaining on the outstanding proposals and wanting to force the union to move ahead and just focus on this year and the years ahead. During a virtual meeting with teachers yesterday, GTU President Mark Light said enough patience had been exercised with the government on the issue. He noted that teachers were hopeful that the government would have done the right thing when teachers ended their earlier strike action after filing that court case.
Ministry of Education, who now has the authority to negotiate, should, in the interest of our learners and the education sector in Guyana, work to have the matter before us amicably resolved. And this would not be resolved through just talks. It would be resolved through the active signing of the multi-year agreement, having come up with the areas that we will agree on. The union is now taking the decisive step that the strike action.
The court ruled in favor of the teachers and granted a number of orders against the government, including an order which prohibits the government from deducting money from the salaries of teachers for their strike action, which the court ruled was justified. The government has indicated that it will appeal that court decision, but it has not re-engaged the union on any issue since the order was handed down by the court. The 36-megawatt power ship, which recently arrived here in Guyana and which is expected to be connected to the national grid within days to supply power, will not fully address the blackout situation in the country, but it will ease the burden currently placed on the country's electricity infrastructure. That's according to Minister of Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh. The Finance Minister and Prime Minister Mark Phillips recently toured the power ship, which is docked in Everton, Berbice.
The arrival and plugging in of this power ship into the grid, along with the other investments that I mentioned earlier, the Garden of Eden and the Columbia investments and others, will help, but they will not solve the problem overnight. We're going to continue to monitor how demand grows and what we can do to ensure that we have adequate supply.
The power ship was expected to come on stream today originally, but the power company GPL said it is in the final stages of connecting the ship to the national grid. The intervention of the power ship comes as the country is grappling with daily power outages for long periods. In the last 2 months, citizens have expressed their frustration over lengthy power outages, which have disrupted their lives and their livelihood. A number of citizens have also lodged complaints about damages to their appliances by the power fluctuations. Prime Minister Mark Phillips stated that the power ship represents a significant investment by the government. He reiterated that there will be no increase in the electricity bill when the power ship comes on stream.
That is a commitment we made to the people, and we will honor that commitment. So all the money, all the financing that is linked to this project will be absorbed by the government. It will not be passed on to the people of Guyana. What is important at this stage is fixing the problem, ensuring the people get electricity. There's a reduction in load shedding. Matter of fact, if I have my way, zero load shedding, everybody gets reliable electricity at the same rate they've been paying before we came into office.
GPL recently announced that it will be doling out a staggering $1 million as a mobilization fee and will also be paying 6.62 US cents per kilowatt hour as a monthly charter fee for the power ship, as well as a monthly operation and maintenance fee of 0.98 US cents per kilowatt hour based on electricity generated. The government has dismissed concerns about the feasibility of securing the services of the power ship for 2 years, as against investing more in GPL and its power generation capacity.
Purple Arts Productions presents A Treat for My Mother's 7. On Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12, Herbie Marshall and Strings, Barbara Lee, Leona Walton, Young Nelson, and others. Golden jewelry for the best-dressed mother in purple. 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Compliments NDNS Furniture Store, Noodle Cake Creations, Essential Care Pharmacy, Sunflower Jewelry, a Purple Arts Theater production.
Mobile One is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobile One adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of mobile lubricants. With the country's health sector undergoing changes, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony has urged nurses to work harder to help realize the changes in the sector. Speaking at the Nurses Appreciation and Awards ceremony on Tuesday as part of the Nurses Week observances, the health minister said the local health sector is seeing changes like never before. He said the government has been investing heavily to ensure that the country delivers first world services to citizens. But Dr. Anthony acknowledged that such an achievement is nearly impossible without nurses. He told the nurses that while they may not see all the benefits now, they can be part of a transformation process.
Maybe we would not all enjoy all of the benefits because it would take a few years for all of that to happen. But certainly, we would be part of a change that would change this country forever. Because I think people would like to have a world-class healthcare system. And we can be the ones who build it.
Dr. Anthony further explained that the government is taking a new approach in dealing with health-related issues here, and therefore he said everyone must be motivated in order to deliver the kind of service expected of them.
And I really want all of us to see how we can improve, how we can grow, so that wherever you are, whichever institutions you're in, that you can be a leader in that institution, in your sector. We want to empower everybody to do their bit. That's what we are here for.
The health minister also stated that the health ministry is looking to zoom in on women's health, specifically cancer. It was noted that there continues to be a troubling increase in the number of diagnosed breast and cervical cancer cases locally.
People before us had all kinds of challenges. They didn't have enough money, they didn't have enough this, they didn't have enough that. We're changing that. So I really want to use this occasion to appeal to all of you to see how, in your own way, you can be part of this transformation and help us make this into a reality.
Several nurses were presented with awards for their outstanding contributions to the field of nursing over the years. Guyana continues to see nurses migrating in large numbers to take up lucrative jobs in the United Kingdom and other countries. The government has increased the number of nurses that it has in training, with the hope of filling those gaps that are being left behind. A 52-year-old man lost his life on Sunday while working on the construction of a concrete septic tank. The incident occurred at the Eccles industrial site on the east bank of the Marara and claimed the life of Zheng Jun Lu. According to a police report, the man who works for the construction company was working alone inside a septic tank that is being built at a pond when the wall on the western side of that tank collapsed, pinning him. Other workers at the construction site rendered assistance and managed to remove the injured man from the tank. Emergency medical services were contacted, but Shun Liu was pronounced dead at the work site. The police said the scene was processed by detectives and crime scene investigators. Injuries were seen on the left side of the man's body. A post-mortem examination is to be carried out on that body. With the start of the rainy season in many parts of the country, there are calls for persons to ensure their surroundings are cleaned and do not become mosquito breeding grounds. The calls are being made by health officials as the country continues to see a high number of new dengue cases. In many communities, persons have been reporting flu-like symptoms but have been tested positive for dengue. The mosquito-borne virus is responsible for the hospitalization of several persons with severe symptoms, according to the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health has indicated that it will be increasing fogging exercises across the country, but it is also encouraging citizens to keep their yards and their surroundings clear of bushes and stored water. A number of deaths related to the dengue virus have also been reported.
Purple Arts Productions presents A Treat for My Mother's 7 on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 12. Sean Buller, Bernie House, Charmy Blackman, Ronald Green, and others. Golden jewelry for the best dressed mother in purple. 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $3,000 and $2,500. Compliments of Survival Shopping Complex. Simcoe Trading, Secure Innovations and Concept Inc. A Purple Arts Theatre production, directed by Simone Dowdy.
Look at the breathtaking beauty of the Essequibo. From its pristine rivers to its abundant resources, it's a treasure that belongs to Guyana, and we ask Venezuela to respect the rule of international law.
Our commitment to this land is not just about ownership. It's about preserving its beauty and resources for our people and future generations.
The controversy between Guyana and Venezuela was settled internationally as full, perfect and final in 1899. Essequibo belongs to Guyana.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Guyoil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Guyoil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Guyoil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Holiday spending put a dent in your cash. Top up your pockets in the Cash Splash promotion. Win over $5 million, including over $1 million in our weekly draws. Just purchase any Buster, Turbo, Fruita, Cool Kids or Viva. Look for the 8-digit code starting with 786. Then visit Facebook or IG at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean for more details.
Across the region tonight, the government of Grenada, in keeping with its stated intention to develop a cannabis industry that will focus on the medical and industrial uses of the plant, is working to develop a comprehensive approach to the issue, ultimately leading to the passage of cannabis legislation. Caribbean Loop News is reporting that the Ministry of Agriculture in Grenada, in an update, said legislation will address the medical and scientific purposes of cannabis, as well as its potential to create employment and generate foreign exchange in Grenada. The Minister for Agriculture and Lands, Forestry and Marine Resources, Lennox J. Andrews, has expressed confidence in the members of a new working committee.
saying that those members are committed to the mandate by the cabinet to submit proposals on the way forward for the cannabis industry by September of this year. The Bahamas is the latest Caribbean nation to formally recognize Palestine as a state. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Bahamas announced the development yesterday, saying that the government of the Bahamas believes that recognition of the state of Palestine strongly demonstrates the Bahamas' commitment to the principles espoused in the Charter of the United Nations and to the right of self-determination of peoples as articulated in the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights and of the International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights. The ministry in the Bahamas said Bahamians support the legal right of the Palestinian people to freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. The Foreign Affairs Ministry noted that the Bahamas had previously endorsed the two-state solution for Palestine and Israel. And finally tonight, international news. Voters in Panama have elected former Security Minister José Raúl Molino as their new president. Mr. Molino stepped into the presidential race late after his running mate Ricardo Martinelli was disqualified for a money laundering conviction. The 64-year-old campaigned on a promise to close the Darien Gap, a stretch of jungle crossed yearly by hundreds of thousands of migrants. After his victory, he vowed he was no one's puppet. He originally ran for vice president, and despite joining the presidential race late and not taking part in any of the televised presidential debates, Mr. Murillo, a conservative, had enjoyed a convincing lead in opinion polls. With the preliminary count at more than 90%, Mr. Molino had 34% of the share, followed by anti-corruption candidate Ricardo Lombarda at almost 25%. Mr. Lombarda has conceded defeat. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting. I'm encouraging you to have a safe and enjoyable night.